It's Tommy Topdecker back in the house once again with another video just for you. And today, folks, I'm here once again to talk about Reserve List Constructed. And for those of you who do not know, Reserve List Constructed is the brand new Magic format that contains only Reserve List cards. If it's a Reserve List card, you can play it in Reserve List Constructed. If it's not a Reserve List card, you can't play it in Reserve List Constructed. It's that simple, folks. And you know what? The response to this format has been amazing, folks. I've gotten phone calls, I've gotten mails from all over the world, people asking me, Tommy, how can I organize a Reserve List Constructed format? Tommy, what card should I get for Reserve List Constructed? Tommy, check out my brand new Reserve List Constructed deck. You know what, folks? It's taken off big time. This is the new big thing, folks, so get on board here. And today, folks, what I have for you, I have a very special video where we're going to talk about the best creatures in Reserve List Constructed. And what comes to mind right away, folks, number one best creature that would come to your mind right away is none other than JUZAM DJINN. JUZAM DJINN, absolute classic creature, 5/5 for 4 mana. It was a powerhouse back in the day. It got power creeped out, but it's still a powerhouse in this format, folks. If you want to, basically the best 4-drop in the format, probably JUZAM DJINN. You can't go wrong with JUZAM DJINN. It's an all-star card. It's an all-star in Reserve List Constructed. So you know what, folks? Go and get your 4 before it skyrockets again. I know these are going for a few dollars. I know they're kind of expensive, but you know what? They're only going to go up from here. So go out and get your JUZAMs. But there's another card, folks, and Phyrexian Negator. Let me say this, folks. Phyrexian Negator is absolutely a great card. It may be as good or even better in some situations than JUZAM DJINN because it comes out for 1 less mana, and the drawback here about sacrificing permanents. The drawback for sacrificing permanents is actually not that bad, especially in this format. You got to think, folks. Lightning Bolt is not there. Chain Lightning is not there. Incinerate is not there. There are actually very few ways that damage is going to be dealt to this creature. So, if you can drop this guy, maybe second turn off a Mox, third turn, you can hold up like Phyrexian Purge, clear their board, and attack with it. I gotta tell you, folks, Negator, I think, is just as good as JUZAM. So go get 4. These are just going for a few dollars now. I'm telling you, folks, at a few dollars, you gotta get a playset of Phyrexian Negators. Definitely one of the best creatures in the format. Next up, folks, we got the Serendib DJINN. And the Serendib DJINN is not a card that often sees play, in Vintage or Legacy or even Old School. That's because Serendib or Freeze probably better. I mean, sacrificing islands and stuff isn't too much fun. But you know what, folks? In this format, Serendib DJINN is going to get a ton of play. So, Serendib DJINN, Reserve List Rare, only in Arabian Nights, 4-drop, 5/6 flyer. Has a drawback that's somewhat significant, but still, one of the best creatures in the format. And again, folks, this is one card you don't want to sleep on. This is going to take off. I know it's going for a bit now, but it's going to go up more, folks. I'm telling you, Serendib DJINN. Next up, folks, Old Man of the Sea. So one of the strategies, as you know, is taking control of your opponent's creatures. Old Man of the Sea can take control of any 2-power creature, and it's a very solid card because even if you don't have a creature to take control of, even if they have no creatures, you can still get into 2 damage. So really, folks, it's just an overall solid card. It's going to see a ton of play. It's going to make a lot of weenie decks miserable. You got to get Old Man of the Sea, get your playset in. Next up, folks, along the same lines of Old Man of the Sea is Preacher. Now, Preacher's interesting. So unlike Old Man of the Sea, Preacher only swings for 1, but Preacher can take control of anything. So your opponent's got a JUZAM, you got a Preacher. Well, guess what, folks? You got the JUZAM now. So Preacher is definitely going to be an all-star card, kind of a more controlling card. I think you might see it in some white weenie decks, just as a maybe the top of the curve. So they have some staying power when their opponent drops a big creature. It's definitely an all-star, and it's not that expensive, so go get some. I don't think you need 4. Most decks probably don't want 4 of these. Maybe 2 or 3 at most. Great card. Next up, folks, Karn Silver Golem. Karn Silver Golem, absolute all-star. Because not only is it a 4/4 for 5, but also it blocks JUZAM all day. And the reason this card is just incredible is the ability. Basically, you can destroy a Mox for 1 mana. You destroy your opponent's Mox Diamond, Mox Emerald, Mox Ruby, whatever, folks. And if they have the Lotus out, you can destroy that too. And you can even maybe animate your own artifacts if you got a chance. So, folks, Karn, it's an absolutely devastator. It's going to devastate mana bases. It comes out off really early off Mishra's Workshop. It's definitely going to see a ton of play. It's reserve list, and this card's headed higher, folks. This card's only like $20 now, dude. It should be 200, I think. So go get some Karns. Next up, we got the Feldergriff. This card's kind of weird, Feldergriff, but it is a 4/4 for 4, and it comes back to your hand. That's the key, really. Basically, they can't remove it. They try and remove it, you just bounce it back. they get a card, but you get your Feldergriff back. It's going to see some play. Definitely an all-star creature. Definitely a card to go out and get. Next up, folks, we got the Autumn Willow. So one valid strategy in the format, to dodge removal is just play non-targetable creatures like Autumn Willow, Morphling, a couple more also, less well-known cards. But Autumn Willow is definitely an all-star card. It's a 4/4, I think some control decks are going to run, maybe a few Autumn Willows as their win condition, or maybe a couple Morphlings as their win condition. So definitely Autumn Willow, just going for almost nothing now. Homeland's rare. This card's going to take off big time. Next up, folks, Sedge Troll. And, Sedge Troll is just a really efficient creature. It's basically a 3/3 for 3 that regenerates. Again, this is definitely one of the best creatures in the format. And it is a revised rare. It has gone up a little bit lately, but it's still very cheap. You can go out a playset of these. Definitely get a playset. This card is going to see a ton of play in red decks, red-black decks. Next up, folks, is the old Thunder Spirit. And Thunder Spirit's, pretty well known. It's kind of a famous card because it's really not that exciting. But it's a really famous Legends rare. Back in the day, it saw a lot of play in Right Weenie. And again, folks, in Reserve List Constructed, Thunder Spirit is back. So if you've always wanted to play Thunder Spirit, Reserve List Constructed is your chance once again. And this card's, for what it is, it's a 2/2 generic flying for strikers. Kind of expensive. But again, it is an all-star card. There aren't many alternative 3-drops that are as good as Thunder Spirit. So Thunder Spirit's definitely going to dominate the skies coming out third turn. Next up, folks, Sarcomancy. And you're probably telling me, you're probably saying, Tommy, did that say enchantment? I thought you were doing a video on creatures here. Well, yes, folks. Although Sarcomancy is an enchantment, the reason you play it is because of the creature token. So it's basically a 2/2 creature for 1. And Sarcomancy is an absolute all-star. I gotta say, Sarcomancy, definitely one of the probably top 5 cards in the format. Because it is going away, definitely, no doubt in my mind, the number 1-drop card in the format. There are so few 1-drop cards in this format that are worth playing. Sarcomancy is one of the only ones. Sarcomancy is going to dominate, folks. A 2/2 for 1 mana that is just an all-star. Basically, roll it out there before your opponent can do anything. Most folks are going to, if they don't have Mox on the first turn, they're basically going to play a land and pass. You got Sarcomancy going, you get the beats going, folks. And you set up that third turn Negator, that second turn Negator maybe. Set up that third turn JUZAM. Set up that fourth turn Hatred, Sarcomancy. This is an all-star card. You need 4 of these, folks. This card is headed to the moon, all right? So go get 4 Sarcomancies. Don't sleep on this. You need 4 Sarcomancies to play this format. You need it. That's it. Bottom line, folks. Number 1-drop in the format. Go get 4 of them. Don't even question. Go now. TCG player, buy 4. All right? So you know what, folks? In summary, I went over about 10 or 11 creatures here. We took a look at it, 10, 11 all-star creatures. And, these are what I consider to be the best creatures in the format. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're now encouraged to start playing Reserve List Constructed because, you know what? It is the most innovative format. It is the most exciting format. It is now the number 1 Magic the Gathering format, so you need to go get into this format. It is for you, folks. It is the format for you. So it's been Tommy Topdecker right here talking about Reserve List Constructed. I'm out.